Alrighty, so we are back to these nightstands, and for a change, I started working before turning on the camera. So we're using epoxy again. You guys know I liked it for filling the gap on that chair the other day. I'm using it for similar reasons here. So I started already. I apologize, but let's catch you up to where we are. So I took my epoxy, and you see it's a dark brown instead of that clear that we had the other day. So what I did simply is I took some sawdust right out of my bin, and this is dust right from sanding it that I dumped in the bin. So I can get rid of that. It's caught on something. And I mix it into my epoxy, which will tint it, but we still get the sticky property of the epoxy itself. And then I just started putting it on to any cracks that I have in the surface of my piece. So we had a knot hole here. So let's see, maybe. Let's rub our epoxy in. Make sure it really gets in there. And it's covering up the knot hole. Let's see, I'll scrape it away for a sec. And you can see that knot, but I'm gonna put the epoxy back. You can do this a bunch of ways. The epoxy's a little overkill, but I have it, so I might as well. And then there was also a little crack in the surface here. You can see that. So I'm using my epoxy to fill that crack. And the epoxy is sticky enough that it's going to help hold the wood together, although it's dovetailed, so it's not going anywhere. But it's also viscous enough that it's going to fill that crack, so I never have to worry about it again. And I'm going to go over this piece and the other piece and make sure that all of my voids are filled. So I'm going to stick you somewhere where you can hopefully see what I'm doing, and I'm gonna get to work. So not a lot of what's next is expensive. So we see this that's where my strips. I was going to use first thing. I'm just or we don't. Already not much but as you can see, we saw they're already showing some people. Alright, so these are all set. I've epoxied wherever I feel like I need. Luckily it didn't need too much filling. An old mentor of mine once told me that the measure of a good craftsman is not necessarily how perfect all the joinery is, but rather how good they are at hiding their mistakes. Accidents happen, mistakes happen, and well, things happen. So it's good to be able to hide any mistakes that do happen. It's not necessarily inferior craftsmanship. Nothing's going to go wrong, but looking at, those two joints, they both came out perfect. I can't see a gap, but over here, I couldn't get enough clamping pressure, or maybe I didn't cut it perfectly square. There's a little gap. So with the epoxy in there, I'll hopefully be able to hide that gap a little bit better. Same with, some of the gaps over here. Hopefully things will blend in where I didn't get it perfectly flat. So we're at an angle. So that's where we're at with the nightstands. When I come back, it'll be tomorrow, and we're gonna give these guys a nice final sanding, make sure everything is in perfect tip-top shape, and then we are going to apply our finish. And the finish we're gonna learn together. I'm using a new finish I've never used before. It's an oil wax or hard wax oil finish. It seems to be all the rage these days. So we will figure it out together. I'll see you tomorrow. Alrighty, so we are going to now get rid of all this epoxy. So I got my random orbital, glasses, hearing protection. I should have a face mask, but we'll be okay. Not doing too much sanding.
Thank you.